Hello, this is our presentation on climate refugees in Alaska.
Causes of migration in Barrow. Climate change is one of the biggest causes of migration. This is because climate change is causing the ice to thin and return to Barrow later in the year. Problem with this is villages that live on the ice have to move further back from the edge because it is melting so fast. But they have permanent infrastructure, so that can't be picked up and moved back. Another problem is hunting. Hunting is becoming increasingly difficult because since the ice is returning later in the year, the number of hours in the day that is light is also less later than in the year. So that means that the time for hunting is a lot shorter. The people of Barrow mainly rely on hunting as a source of food, but now they have to import more food, which is too expensive for them. The whale is one of the most important food sources that they have there, but since the ice is thin, it can't support the weight of a whale, so they're having trouble with getting the meat of the whale and feeding their families. Another problem with the thinning of the ice is that the sea level is rising. So storm surges are much worse and they are flooding low-lying areas. Most of these low-lying areas have villages in them because it's the best place to build. And the water is so frigid that it is a danger to its residents and can also damage their properties.
Causes of migration in Barrow. The ice caps are melting, which grips the coast due to climate change. This is also due to the burning of fossil fuels, higher release of CO2, pollution, etc. Many hunters make a living off the ice caps, and by them melting, hunting becomes a challenge. Many rely off of this to support their families. Less whales are being seen for these hunters, which they mainly hunted for, their main goal after hunting. Coastal erosion is taking place. Cabins are moving closer to the ocean. Infrastructure is being buried in communities. Roads becoming destabilized and weakened. Only 1 in 3 people in Barrow own cars, making transportation difficult for residents. Industries start to suffer due to ice caps melting, such as fishing. Constant flooding starts to happen due to the ice caps melting because new lakes emerge where ice used to be positioned.
Consequences of migration in Barrow. One consequence is that not all migrants are treated equally when it comes to long-term residents in the areas that they are migrating to. Due to ice melting, bowhead whales have been forced to change their migration path and now arrive at Barrow much later than they should. This is an issue because whales are very vital and crucial to the survival of the residents of Barrow. Whales stopped showing up on researchers' radars and the programs that tracked them were halted.
Cause of migration, Shishmaref. Shishmaref is a small community of about 600 residents located on the barrier island of Sarachev. Due to climate change, the community has voted to uproot and migrate inland. As temperatures are increasing, the ice melts and the frequency of snowstorms decrease. The freezing of the ice has been delayed, and in recent times it was only frozen just enough to fish on. Shishmaref is a community that heavily relies on the ice for their drinking water and food sources, example seals and fish. If the present temperature trends continue, this village could lose most of its necessary resources. Coastal erosion and flooding as a result of climate change also threatens properties, resulting in loss of homes and businesses. More than 200 feet of the shore has been eaten away since 1969. In response, residents have chosen to migrate to safer, more secure locations where they can better provide for themselves and their families.
Consequences of migration in Shishmaref. Due to global warming, the region of Shishmaref has become rather unstable. Over the last 40 years, 200 feet of shore has been lost. Due to this, the people of Shishmaref, which consist of around 600 people, have been forced to relocate, which will cost 180 million. A previous 27 million has been spent to stop the destruction of the coast, but to no avail. Thus, a consequence of migration would be a loss of a massive amount of investment into the safety of a region that was doomed.
The cause of migration in Kivalina. Main cause of migration is due to global warming affecting the people's environment. Climate change has caused the island of Kivalina, Alaska to suffer from several severe storms, coastal erosion, and sinking land. It also affects the hunting on the island as the Inupiat rely on natural resources such as whale meat, which is a crucial source of food. Global warming has caused the ice to thin, and that makes whale hunting and many other living conditions dangerous.
Consequences of migration, Kivalina. By 2100, climate change could displace as many as 13 million people living in coastal regions of the U.S. Kivalina residents are torn about their island's condition because of global warming, but socially, they believe in their culture, their heritage, and have developed a community. This can pose a social issue when it comes to relocating Kivalina, and over the years as climate change continues to negatively impact their environment and homes. Economically, the U.S. government sees funding for relocation as a difficulty as well.